Great products like handbags, walks, backpacks, luggage, belts, shoes, and more are awaiting you. Brand names at the best quality and reasonable prices. Landry, Only, Kipling, Yes, Travel, Life, Virtual, and more. Shop any of our locations. Downtown Charlotte Street, Mall at Marathon, and also the Money Store at Palmdale. Be sure to shop. Western Charlotte. You'll be Facebook, Global 99.5 FM. Global Radio 99.5. Network and the operators of this radio station.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. We have a really, really important show for you today. And those of you watching on Facebook, I want you to go ahead and like and share this show because we have a special guest who's going to help us to make sense of all the madness we see happening out there right now. So before I introduce my guest, let me throw out the telephone contacts, and then I'm going to play a video from the press briefing today at the Office of the Prime Minister, where we would have heard from the Minister of National Security. But before we get to that, the telephone numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for text messages only. Well, and calls, 8010271, 8010271. We're also streaming live on Facebook and on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm Facebook pages, as well as on our YouTube channels. And of course, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. We're talking crime today. Unless you are living under a rock, you know that we have been inundated in the last several days. Murder after murder after murder after murder. And it's just absolute madness, the carnage that is happening in our streets right now. But this isn't happening by accident. And there's a reason why we see happening in our society happening. And hopefully today we'll be able to bring about some kind of recommendations that we all need to adopt to address this problem. I'm going to start today's show with an excerpt from the presentation that was made at the Office of the Prime Minister this morning by the Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe, as it relates to this criminal problem, this problem with crime that we see happening in our society, and then I'm going to introduce my guest.
We have heard time after time a call for supposedly the government's crime plan to be laid out. From our first addresses, I directed everyone to Vision 2040 because there's laid out the crime plan that we all, in a nonpartisan way, addressed. I gave a policy speech at the University of the Bahamas Public Policy Institute on the 28th of March 2023. It's on their website, and I don't intend to go through the full address of it, but just to see the parts that are relevant to what I was asked to address by Mr. Watson. In that public policy address, I commenced it by citing Proverbs 22, and it dovetails into what the Minister of Education just referred to and discussed. And Proverbs 22 verses 1 through 6 says the following: "A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that keeps his soul shall be far from them." And it ends, and this would be familiar to all of us: "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." The national security policy being adopted by this administration, as set out in Vision 2040, which in the blueprint of change that we campaigned on, we indicated that we would implement, is four-pronged insofar as crime is concerned. It relates to prevention, firstly, detection and disruption, trial process, and then rehabilitation. The Honorable Prime Minister likes this sign because he believes that we need to invest greatly in prevention and rehabilitation. And to be quite clear of how that works, we always hear mothers and fathers saying their good son was just murdered, regardless of if he's on bail for 6 murders, 5 murders, 4 murders, or in the case of one of the latest victims, 1 murder and the attempted murder of a policeman. Well, life is simply like this. Everyone is a good son when he is born. Everyone is a good daughter when he is born. Our experiences in this country shows us that somewhere from birth to about 14, 15, some of our young men particularly adopt a mindset that they are willing to drive around, walk around with high-powered guns and handguns and have no compunction shooting someone in their head 2 or 3 times, about the body multiple times. That is a journey. They were not born and arrived at that point all at once. That is a journey that took them from being an innocent child to being a cold-blooded killer. And so the policy must be deliberate. It cannot be knee-jerk. The first part of Vision 2040 says that we must focus on youth at risk if we're going to prevent them becoming criminals. And that is what we seek to do in this administration. Vision 2040 makes it clear as well, though, that that is not solely the job of the government. The government has its programs. So for instance, if you were to look in the policy speech presented, we have a number of them. We have Students Against Negative Decisions, which relates to positive peer interactions. We have Just Adolescent Mentorship Movement. And what we have done most recently, we have the Urban Renewal Ban, we have Rangers, we have police cadets. What we've had to do recently, following younger and younger people being charged with murder down to as low as 15 and 16, we've had to implement an intervention program in the primary school. And that is the HYPE program, helping young people excel. Because it is too late to intervene in junior and senior school if young men have adopted the mindset to kill by the time they are 15 and 16. And so the HYPE program, which is piloted now in 2 schools, primary schools in Grand Bahama and 4 on New Providence, everything we do is multi-agency. There's a discipline component that is run by the Defense Force, the Police Force, and the Correctional Services. We have an Aspire curriculum delivered by the National Anti-Drug Agency from the Ministry of Health. We use the social workers in the schools to assess the children, and we are partnering with groups to provide parenting classes, because it's pointless working on the children if you return them to dysfunctional circumstances. This must be collective, because a child, as you heard the Minister of Education say, in all aspects, villages raise children, and you cannot ignore it. In my constituency, we had a 4.0 student murdered at the point that he had a nice job in an accounting firm in the US, would have taken his mother and brother over there and given them a life they didn't experience before. A mother doing everything that she was supposed to do to raise her son correctly. He met his death at the hand of a young man who was not raised correctly. Every child must be all of our business. It is as simple as that.
Okay, so you would have just heard from the Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe, who literally just moments ago addressed the press at the Office of the Prime Minister, and that's where that clip came from. And ironically, when I was planning this show today, because I just literally decided to do this show because of the fact that I was working on something else, and when last night the notification came that there was another murder, I said, oh my God, this is ridiculous, and decided that, okay, I think I need to change directions for where I'm going to go on the show tomorrow. So literally the show was put together very quickly, and I was very grateful to the Commissioner of Police for making our guest today available. Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings is joining us on the show today. Many of you know her because, my God, every time you turn around, she is there on the scene. I don't know I think I need to introduce you to some of my vitamins, Chief Superintendent, because I know you got to be tired. I mean, every night, every other night, this woman out there appealing to the public and asking, for us to cooperate and learn how to resolve our issues and etc. So I know you got to be tired. I just get tired just watching you all. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Michelle, and good afternoon, Bahamas. And it's certainly a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon as we tackle the topic of crime and we look at the various incidents that are occurring in our community.
Mhm.
Am I optimistic that things can get better and will get better? I am. As the Honorable Minister noted a few minutes ago, it has to be a collective effort.
Absolutely.
A collective effort. Everybody, and he said it well in his closing remarks when he said, every child should be our business.
It used to be that way.
It used to be that way. I caught a little bit of that era when the village raised the child.
Mhm.
And we certainly didn't see happening then what we see happening now.
Nope.
And so it simply means that, like Minister indicated, we now need to go back to basics.
You know, one of the persons that I was trying to get to join us on the show today, he did eventually call this morning and said he couldn't make it. But we had a long conversation about what he thinks led us to where we are now, and that's Dr. David Allen. And he took me all the way back to the generation of mothers being hooked on crack when the crack cocaine epidemic was wreaking havoc on this country. And the fact that mothers abandoned their children
Yes.
in pursuit of that drug.
Mhm.
And many children were left to raise themselves and their siblings
Mhm.
without the parental guidance that they needed to teach them right from wrong, to teach them what values they should have.
Mhm.
So now we are seeing the offspring of that, where you had a whole generation of children who were not raised with any kind of morals or values. And we remember very clearly what happened in the 80s and the 90s with the drug trade
Mhm.
and the countless young men who lost their lives
Yep. Mhm.
in this country as a result of the drug trade. But now you've got a generation later. So these are the children from those children.
Yes.
So it's, as he was trying to explain to me, this is not surprising when you consider what we stood by and allowed to happen, because we all saw it happening.
Mhm.
And very few people were forward thinking enough. He was saying that he was one of them that was trying to warn as to the fallout that we would see from that if we didn't intervene. But his warnings, for the most part, fell on deaf ears. So fast forward to 2023. And y'all on the police force are dealing with 15-year-olds who are alleged hitmen,
Carrying weapons.
carrying dangerous weapons,
Mhm.
going before the court for 4 and 5 and 6 murders. And everybody throwing their hand up in there, oh, woe is me, and how we get to this, and what's wrong with these young people? And then point their fingers at y'all, the police.
Oh my! Don't forget my good child.
Oh yeah, we can talk about my good child, because ain't no child bad. But yet they shooting up people, robbing up people, killing up people, but that's your good son. And then everybody want to turn around and blame the police. As if we didn't know that if you plant corn, you can't expect peace. So let me let you I could go. Is that a call for the show already? Wow. The chief superintendent even didn't get to bite into this good yet. We have a caller. Caller, welcome to the show.
God bless you and good day, Michelle. How you doing?
Hey,
today?
JT, what you saying?
I'm blessed, you know. Good afternoon, Madam Inspector. How you doing today?
I'm well, and yourself?
Good, pretty good. You know, Michelle, I listened very carefully to the presentation by the minister when he made reference to those 4 planks in the 2020 or 4020 vision. I forgot the title. But the one thing he left out, punishment.
Well, that wasn't his entire
Presentation,
speech.
yes, I noticed.
That's
yeah.
just what I was able to pull out. I couldn't play the whole thing. It's
No, I appreciate that.
and I
but
will
mean,
play some more of it throughout the show.
But what I'm saying is he mentioned only 4 planks in that platform by the PLP.
Well, what I'm saying to you is, though, that he got to the question.
Oh, he mentioned?
Yes, but
Okay,
not in that clip,
Okay,
but
understood.
later on in
Okay,
his
okay, then.
presentation. So we
okay.
will get to that.
Okay, got you. Well, let me tell you why I'm calling in any event.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'll say in regards to your guest today, she's a very special person. And she'll understand why I'm saying that privately in her thoughts, but she's a very special person.
Mm-hmm.
But Michelle, let me ask Officer Skippings, in regards to the Bible, and I'm glad the minister made reference to Proverbs.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to the Bible in Romans chapter 13, God makes it very clear what the law officers of the land are there for. Okay, back in the day when the Bible was written, it was soldiers. Today, it's police officers. For those who do good, the law officers are there to reward them, acknowledge them, praise them, award them. But for those who do evil, the officers of the land, as ministers of God, are there to mete out punishment against evil doers. That's what law officers are put on this planet by God to do. So whenever the police officers are doing their job, and they are doing it the way God requires them, and they are sworn by their oath of duty to do, they are doing what God requires. That's why I essentially support the police, because at the end of the day, Lord help us if they run around, you know. And what I'd like to ask Officer Skippings is this one question. Is there on-the-job counseling for police officers? I ask this question every now and then because news reporters and you police officers have to face some of the most terrifying, heinous experiences because of the jobs both of you professionals hold. And I am honestly interested to know and concerned to find out whether or not the police force has a psychological program or counseling program for officers, because you're human beings like we all are, and you're seeing heinousness day in and day out, day in and day out. How do you police officers cope? And on that note, Michelle, I'll hang up and listen to her response and continue to listen to the show.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, JT. It's so good to hear your voice. I'm glad to know that everything is well with you, and everything is well with me. In regards to your question, we do have a member of staff in the person of our Canon Stephen Davis, who is there to provide counseling to officers, those who may need counseling. And then there are also the arms within government that once he sees fit to refer outside of the organization, we have those agencies available and ready at all times to assist with the police officers should they need counseling as it relates to all of the matters they deal with and they see on a very regular basis. I also want to say that the police officers, under the leadership of Clayton Fernando, we also have a strong Christian aspect of it as well. And so, Christ is the center of everything that we do and we say. And prior to us hitting the streets, we pray and we ask God's protection over us so that he may keep us and sustain us as we execute our duties on a very daily basis. And so that keeps us going. Also a love for country. I can tell you, JT, the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, they enjoy doing what they do. They enjoy serving in this country. The only thing that I wouldn't say that we don't enjoy, but we get concerned when we see the behavior of how young people resolve or how they interact in terms of when there's a conflict. And that is what we now see being displayed within our communities. young people, as indicated by Minister when he said somewhere between from birth to 14, something happens. And our young people, for some reason, I'll say to you, even some parents, because they don't have the skills to parent, for some reason somewhere during that phase, they throw the towel in when it gets a little rough. And we see it happening on a daily basis. And so again, JT, it's going to be a collective effort. Every citizen in this country, it's not Mr. Jones' child. It should be our child. As I traverse throughout this country, and I see young people, if they're getting in a heated argument, I don't just continue driving and say, it's not my responsibility. Those are not my children. They are my children, because when they're away from their parents, they are my children. And I stop and I intervene. I don't intervene in a rough manner, but what is going on? Let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
But quite honestly, Chief Superintendent, a lot of people are afraid to do that because they think that if they try to get in the middle of an argument, they themselves might end up dead. Back in the day, we used to argue with bottle and rock.
Yes, we did.
These young children ain't carrying no bottle and rock no more. They walking around with high-powered weapons. And so I think a lot of people are afraid to get involved if you see some kind of conflict going on, because you don't know the mindset of these people. You could just be innocently trying to defuse something and you end up dead.
Well, too, and you're absolutely correct. And so in those instances where people feel threatened, then simply call us right away. You have your telephone. You can record, send that information to us so we know who the players are. We know who we need to pull in. We know who we need to communicate with or have a conversation with.
Right.
And we can reach out to the parents. Because a lot of these times, again, like Minister indicated, you have kids who come from respectful homes, but when they get in the community of friends, their attitudes and behavior change. And so if we have that recording, we can then commence an investigation. We can pull in the parents, let them see exactly what's going on, and try to work on rehabilitation or try to work with helping them, showing them how to resolve conflicts differently. Most of what we see happening, Michelle, is basically conflicts.
Yeah.
You have your gang related, and then you have retaliation. But the bottom line, it's starting from conflicts. And this is a conversation that we have to have. It is something that has to be now, I would say, in the education curriculum now, with role plays, so that young people from as early as primary school, as the Minister indicated with the HYPE program, so that they will know that it is okay to argue. A lot of times we want to tell our children, don't get into no argument at an early age. It is healthy. Arguments help you to grow. But we have to show our young people that at that age when you argue, there are different avenues to take, and you don't have to resort to pulling out a weapon and injuring someone.
Honestly, because some of the things that we hear started these arguments is the most trivial foolishness.
Most trivial.
And you're like, really? But obviously it wasn't that thing. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes.
You have a whole lifetime of these children not being able to resolve conflicts. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm. Just called to congratulate you and all these people you bring on the show. It's very good and entertaining to us.
Thank you.
And congratulate and continue, Ms. Chrislyn. Continue keeping up your good work. You're doing well, and we appreciate you and love you. And God bless both of you all this day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for calling. Another one? Another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Ms. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
And to you.
Yes.
Same to you.
Ms. Malcolm, we have to start it from the young youth. When we see the little children, the parents, them got a whole responsible. When they send the little children to mom and pop store for backwood, for bottle of beer, for cigarette. When a seed is planted in the ground into those children's heart, they are curious to know, well, what mama doing with backwood or cigarette? That seed is being planted. When a seed is being planted in the ground, it is growing and growing in the earth. And when you start seeing it coming up, the point is, when these seed plant in these children and it grow and it grow, and as the children them grow, the seed is growing along with them. And they now start seeing, well, mommy smoking this, mommy drinking this beer, and they start want to do the same thing because why? They're not going to come out in the open and do it, They're going to go hide around the house or whatever until they start getting around 10 and whatever. This is the reason why we need strongly any mom and pop store find selling these underage children, or the parents sending them to the shop. You deal with them. You don't let them off the hook. The children, they maybe sometimes go to school. The police need to go to these primary school and junior school, and when they're in class, that's the best time to test these children, because you can never test them when they come out of school. So when you test them in the classroom, then you will know what is what. See, now we got to do things now differently now. And this is primary school, junior school. When they're in class, nobody know. You just show up there and you just test, and we'll get to find out who is doing these things and stuff like that. So the police is doing an excellent job now, but we got to get hold of them before they start going in grade 10 and grade 11 and grade 12. So once we can get them in primary and junior school, we got to chop off the head of that root. And if we don't, then we will start seeing the same problem, because why? We let this tree, we let the seed grow in them, and it grow, and it grow, and then we just stand by. So that is my point. We have to hold the parents them responsible and charge them and send some people before the court, and we'll see a whole different changes. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Carl. I can jump in and then I can let you respond, right? Because I think we're using the word parent lightly. Here's why I say that. Not everybody who could have baby is a parent. You got a lot of people who reproducing who don't understand what it is to be a parent and seemingly don't care to understand. I'm not saying that that is the case with the parents of every person who goes wrong. You have, as you would have pointed out, some really good parents, but yet their child gets caught up in the wrong crowd, with the wrong crowd, gets influenced by their peers, and still does something stupid. But I'm sure that as a police force, y'all have faced time and time and time again with young people who are raised by people who are not raised by people who don't know the first thing about parenting. We got to stop calling people parents just because they could reproduce. Now, you ain't got to say it, I say it. Because I don't care if it costs me. But just because you have functioning reproductive organs don't make you a parent. And this is a part of the problem that we're facing. You got these children growing like wildflower because they were never parented. And now, everything falling in your lap, the police having to go clean this all up. It never ceases to amaze me when people start to blame the police for the problem we having now, like y'all responsible for the heart of mankind. You can't be everywhere. So I really feel for y'all. Now, I ain't gonna say the police force perfect, because I'm sure you know there's some cleaning up that happened on the force as well. But y'all clearly have your hands full, and much of it has to begin within the homes.
That's the foundation. And you mentioned it quite adequately when you said that not everyone is capable of being a parent, or we use that parent term loosely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's facts, though. It's the facts, and as we talk about it, we have to. And I know the urban renewal, let me just say that the urban renewal has a parenting program in place. And so it's functioning. The question is now, are all of the parents who need these skills coming out now to be able to get the training that they need to be able to take responsibility or to rear their children in the way that they ought to go? And so there are programs in place for this. The question, like I said, is whether or not the parents are going to make the time to come out, because
if they see it as necessary.
If they see it as necessary,
Yeah.
because a lot of them who have children, a lot of individuals who have children don't realize that when you have a child,
That's
your lifestyle
responsibility.
change.
Yeah, you've got responsibility now.
It's responsibility. Those days for going partying, having fun, those days are over when you start to bear children. Your mind should now be in the focus of rearing and responsibility. And when you don't do that, this is what we see today.
I want to read a comment and then we're going to go back to the phone lines. It says, "Afternoon, Michelle, great guest. We must be careful not to stereotype all young people, as not all young people are involved in crime. The recent peak in crime is a multifaceted effect of unresolved anger and dysfunctional homes, coupled with poor parenting. Many of these youths are angry due to childhood trauma that is not healed to make an impact. We as a society are at fault. We all have a duty to get to our young people before it's too late. This is everyone's problem." Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes. How you doing, Ms. Michelle?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. And the commissioner, how's she? You all right?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I claim that and I receive it. Chief Superintendent Skippings.
I would like to say something as a former gang member when I was inside the States. I just think, and this is just my opinion, I don't know if you all take opinion well, but everything what you all saying, that it sound good. But let me give you a reality check.
Okay.
Young people don't listen to plenty things. Radio, they don't listen to talk shows, and it ain't about being good. You know, everything what you see on TV, if you weigh out how it is, they always push evil over good. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Police, to me, should try to recruit gang members. You might not like it, but it's the truth. You should try to recruit gang members. And let me tell you the trickle-down effect of that. I have a young brother, and my brother, whatever I do, he emulate that. It sounds good to say, "Oh, my brother's a bad man," or "Don't touch me," because you all catch what I'm trying to say. Because it shows some type of big clout. Now, police, if you listen to her, it's y'all almost talking like homey type thing, like saying the mothers them got to do that. That's fine. That's like, to me, that's like church thing. You still ain't getting to the root of the problem. And to me, I ain't 30 yet, but I just saying people of a certain age, the discipline y'all grew up in, y'all in a different era. And if whether you believe that or not, y'all are in a different area and y'all would not understand. In the States, they have police. What is friend you? They friend you. And that's how you will find out where the gun's coming from. And if you want to reach somebody who looking at somebody as an idol, you have to bring down his idol. You have to do it, no matter how you look at it. And it don't have to be, I'm a policeman, no. You could go into a neighborhood, ask a person like me, "Yo, what is your problem?" And even if I be like, "Man, I ain't gonna talk to the man like that," and when a guy saying to turn your back on me, there's no tracking here. Like, you could talk to me once, and once you walk away from me, that's it. Y'all ain't never see me come talk to me. Y'all don't track who y'all talk to. And that's the biggest problem. Y'all do not track who y'all talk to. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a bully. Send some police in the neighborhood without a gun and things like that. He could have his backup or whatnot. Sit down with one or two of vigilants. Never go. That's like, a group of women. You can't approach a group of women and single out one woman and think that you could pull her aside to talk to her. It's the same thing with gang rules. You can't go around a bunch of fellas and just try to single out one because now they can look at you as funny. But if you track the guy who you're looking for and then you go there and you reason with him, and you'll understand this man might only need a job or he's frustrated and this and that, and that's what turned him on this side. And that is how you all can find out what's going on inside this country. It only take once. Remember, ain't everybody like how you all think it is. I can leave you with this, and I want you all to think about what I'm saying. Most part, I come from a Christian home. Daddy's a pastor, mother's an evangelist. And I was leading something that was totally against what they were saying. Why? Because my brother was in that. And I was protected by something. You know, he get turned by a police officer. You understand? So to me, I hear what you're all saying, but you're all still reaching the streets. Believe me when I say, you're all totally, I hear you all, what his name is? Mr. That's the first time I listen to radio. He's so off base and all we don't care. Keep that in your mind. We don't care. We don't care. But you all have to, you know, if you have to talk, you have to talk to go there and talk, and you can break one. That's all y'all need, you know. One, you can break it. But this approach that you all got, it's just reactive. And if you all keep reactive, listen every day when I see the miss, she's there on camera, you can see the frustration on her face. She can retire and leave this behind. And people can just look at her legacy as being reactive on the streets. Because y'all ain't making a dent. That sounds horrible. Y'all are not making a dent because y'all looking at it on a principle level. I can leave you with that. Y'all looking at that as a principle level. Go to some guys who's a police that don't wear these things. Go into the neighborhood and sit down with these fellas and chop it up with one or two of them. Let the police say, look here, man, let me invite you out here and invite you out here. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about trust. And y'all who in the brass who wearing this, we ain't gonna trust that unless y'all come and sit down with us. It's almost like saying, okay, man, we see what's going on in the Bahamas and we trying to, you know, wait to see what is going on. And it can take one so because I came from a good home. You only got to touch my soul to make me spill that out. And then I could say, okay, go down to that container. Here's where the gun's coming from. Here's who supply. You see how y'all chain moving? I'm just saying, y'all totally out of touch. That coming from one ex-gang member would just get reformed. Y'all totally out of touch. As bad as it sounds, because y'all coming from a moral place. Anybody that kills somebody is not moral. Y'all need to get somebody in there who understand me. Because I try to tell you, if I have a brother and my brother see what I doing, he's not gonna. He don't care what you say because he's looking at me.
We just had a case of what you're talking about, that the two brothers were killed and the father
but
came
I'm trying
before.
to tell you, he looking at me.
The father did go to the media and say that he was heartbroken because he warned the younger brother not to hang out with the older brother because of what the older brother was allegedly involved in, and he didn't listen to his father.
Let me try and
now they're both gone.
Let me try and brush to you and I can go. I meet your daughter, your good daughter. Listen to you talking on the radio. I meet your good daughter. I might have said something to your daughter that get a little interested in me. I pull her into the life. Listen good what I said. I pull her into the life. Now she know what I'm capable of and what I'm capable of, right? So now let's just say we have a kid and stuff like that. People might look at her and say, boy, you crazy. I didn't go on to her crazy. I didn't go on to this woman crazy, you know. I go on to her scene, yes. And I pull her into her life from what her mommy was teaching. I don't know if that passed yours. From what her mommy is teaching. Could you imagine fellas who leading the tribe doing the same thing with good principle? That's why I say you're trailing. I can say that one more time and I go on. I could go to your daughter with good morals, who go to church on Sunday and this and that. Do not focus this thing on saying, the mother said, yeah, we got good and bad all over the world. But I'm saying I could come and trick your daughter and get into my house. She know what time it is, but by the time she figure it out, she too scared to move because now she see what my life about. Do you understand that? I understand exactly. So for you to get to me, you have to talk to me. Reason. Come with compassion and talk to me. Reason with me and find out. Listen, what is it? And do not go with guns and now bully tactic. Don't send nobody there. Y'all could put people in plain clothes. And then you could find out. I can tell you right now, but I leave that. You will find out where all these guns he's coming from. Simple. We do not listen to radio. We don't care about that. We don't listen to news. We don't care about that. We don't know who is Michelle Malcolm. We don't care about you. We don't care about the police who's sitting on the side. We don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all care, but we don't care. Because once you see somebody say, okay, this person do something to us, we revolve. That's 6 in the chamber. One can catch what y'all coming on the news every day and saying why. I leave that like that, and may God bless you all.
Well, I appreciate you calling.
I appreciate the call as well. And you're absolutely on point, but I can say that we do have some initiatives in place. We do have officers on the ground on a regular basis from the Urban Renewal Center in the various communities as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always room for improvement. And so I'm listening to what he's saying, and definitely I know the commissioner and our top team are also in place, but we're going to continue doing what we're doing in the communities, going from door to door, homes to homes. And I can only encourage the residents. And I know we talked about females, but it's male and females together that has to work on this. It's not just the females that we're talking about, but the males especially as well. And I'm talking about fathers to be role models for the young men as well.
Because, in response to what he was talking about on call light coming to you right now, about drawing in your daughter. I'm not saying it can't happen but from good families. But here's the thing. If the father in that home shows that daughter from she come out the womb, what she should be treated like as a little girl, as a young woman, as a woman, the way he interacts with her mother, the way he treats her, etc. If that father shows that girl the kind of love that females crave from their father figures, if he teaches her from a young age, this is how a man is supposed to treat you. I ain't saying, Carla, you ain't gonna be able to penetrate, but you're gonna have a harder time.
Have a difficult time.
Because she already know how she's supposed to be treated. And she is not searching for that love that she's not getting at home. But now when you roll up on a girl, she come from a good home, but either the father ain't there or the father there, but he ain't really there. And she's searching for that love and that acceptance. She's easy prey.
And Michelle, you just opened up another avenue again, because a lot of times we find that the males are not in the homes. And when the males are not in the home, then you have persons who come and they pray.
Because she looking for daddy.
She looking for daddy. And so that's why I said the males have a responsibility.
Yeah.
They have a greater responsibility. And I'm sorry if I'm going to go to the Bible now, but God placed them here. And there's some things that they ought to be doing. And when they don't do it, this is what we see manifesting right now inside our country.
We have another call on. But listen here. We almost an hour in and we ain't getting to nothing yet. And these calls keep coming. But anyhow, caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Michelle and Skipping. How are you? Hello?
Yeah, she's listening.
Yes, sometimes I feel so sorry for you, watching you on Facebook all hours of the morning. These people dragging you out. Oh, Lord. Everybody feels for you, and thank you for your service and your commitment, along with your fellow officers. But, I listened intensely to the young man who spoke.
And young man, if you would call back and give, if you would give our producer your contact so she could reach out to you directly, that would be great. But go ahead, call. I'm sorry to interrupt.
And what he said was profound, But the spectrum, I think, that he's speaking on is on the other end. Because he said something to the effect that these young people, these persons who are crucial to this in this whole crisis that we're in, are listening to the shows, and they aren't or checking like that. They're in their own zone.
Right.
And at that point, when you become, because I had met a young man many years ago, and when I looked into his eyes, it was like as if he was dead. All of the life was out of it. I'm sure, siblings, I'm sure you've seen many young men, maybe women as well, who have come to that point where they're gone. In their eyes, you can see that it's as if they're dead inside. They're not feeling anything. It's as if you cut them, they won't even bleed. That coldness. And when you get to that point, it's so difficult to get a breakthrough with that. And I think when it gets to that point over the edge, that's the point where I think the officers as far as when you go and do, like I call it the cleanup on the after the if, you deal with the effects of the situation. But my concern is the preventative part of it. And you all spoke about the home, parenting, all of that it's so important to do this the right way. And the church. We have to know and understand and appreciate the value of life. And so many persons, especially, a lot of young persons, so sad, they don't appreciate the value of life. There's a debate going on in America right now with this abortion, and persons again is pro-abortion, anti-abortion, and people speak of life so loosely as if, the life doesn't matter, right? So as far as instilling in our young people, trying to get them to really appreciate, grow, because sometimes when they get to a certain point, yes, we do our best at home. We take them to church, we do all of these good things with them, the right things that we think as parents we're doing. But somewhere along the way, like he said, your daughter or someone may run into a young man who was actually scoping them out. I'm going after, see, as bad as a fella may be, all men want a good girl. They want a good girl. They want a wholesome girl. You understand that they will do whatever they have to do and say whatever they have to say to get that good girl, right? Now, I think what is lacking, you say your programs, urban renewal, and all of these different programs, churches, all of these organizations, they're doing, I guess, as best a job as they can. But I think more resources must be put into these programs, where there are parents who are trying, but they're not getting they don't have the resources that they really need. Even with programs, you have so many children that come to school who are being, abused in so many different ways, but there's no way to detect it as far as with training of the teachers, as far as finding real resources. And the public system is so bloated. There's so many people in need. I think so much sacrifices need to be put into the resources to try and get these young people and programs where we can really actually have things that will bring in more counselors. And whatever we have, the church, though, the churches needs, I think some of them need to be open, with more, much more help, because we have to get these children, young people, the help that they need before it gets to the point where it's on the other end of it, when it's, I call it too late, because the last thing the point I want to make is that you see now the majority of persons are crying out for the death penalty. And when it gets to the point where persons who never wanted to have for us to use the death penalty in this country are pleading for it now to the point where they're disgusted, there is a serious problem that's going on, and the police aren't. So they can't solve the problem by themselves, and we have to look at this thing holistically to really get a grasp on the problem, and we need to start with really getting in and dealing with and helping our parents, more parenting classes, and so forth, in order to try and reach these persons before it gets to the point that they do not appreciate life, or they die inside. They're walking dead around this place. But thank you all for listening, and continue to be safe.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
And if I may at this point, I go back to the male caller as he spoke about, programs, and another caller spoke about programs, but I just wanted to plug in here that urban renewal. We have a number of urban renewal centers. We have, and it's under the leadership of Superintendent Davy Pratt. We have Bain and Grantstown. We have St. Barnabas Urban Renewal, Ingliston, Nassau Village, Pinewood, Carmichael Road, Marathon, recently established, Foxhill. And at these centers, we have programs running for young people daily. We have the LEAP program, which is the Law Enforcement Empowerment and Preparedness program that was launched when Commissioner Fernando took over. And that program is a program that gives individuals a second chance who are interested in joining the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We also have the STAND program, and this is at each of the urban renewal centers. We have the STAND program, which is Students Together Against Negative Decisions. We also have the JUST program, and Minister mentioned the HYPE program, helping young people excel, and that is in the primary school. And we also have the parenting programs at the various urban renewal centers. I just want to encourage persons who reside in those communities or those communities close to the urban renewal center. If you know that your child is at risk, or you see them hanging with friends who you know may not be steering them in the right direction, I want to encourage you. We have trained people at these urban renewal centers. I want to encourage you to go in there, speak with the coordinators. Let's try to work. Let's get them enrolled in a program, and let's get our young people on the right track. It has to start from the foundation, and if we can catch them while they're young, we can definitely correct this problem in the years to come.
I think a part of the point that he was trying to make, because everything that you just mentioned is wonderful, and I'm sure that there will be some that will be caught by that system and hopefully impacted to the point where their lives change. But I think the point that the young man was trying to make is that, okay, we can take the break right now, is that a lot of these young men ain't walking into no urban renewal. They ain't walking there.
And that's why we also have the urban renewal officers who on a daily basis are walking in the communities, and they're speaking to people within the communities as well. And we do it on a consistent basis.
Right.
And so the thing is now for them to be able to develop that relationship with us, to trust us, to give us the information. That is where we are right now. And I'm optimistic that it's going to get better.
What are your I can take a break right now, producer. What are your thoughts about what the young man said in terms of recruiting gang members? And here's why I'm asking that. I don't remember what the movie was, but I remember there's a movie made on a true story about this young man who was able to use technology to pull off this major heist. And what the feds ended up doing was hiring him as a consultant behind the scenes, so he could teach them
what to do,
how to catch him, how to catch another him. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts may be quite different from that of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And
Right.
so with that, I know Commissioner Fernandez is listening in along with our top team.
Yes.
And it's something that we'll probably sit down and talk about. And then at another level, they'll discuss it to see exactly what can be done or whether it's something that we can consider moving forward.
I hear you. And Commissioner, just for the record, thank you so much for allowing Chief Superintendent Skippings to be with us today. Break? Okay, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to continue the show. I have more from what the Minister of National Security would have said during today's press briefing. The phone lines, you all call them, which is a good thing. I want to keep you all engaged in the show. And we even didn't give Chief Superintendent a chance to dive in. I mean, for the woman who would sit down, the phone started ringing. So I'm sure she has a lot of meat she wants to bring as well. So jam-packed show, but we got to pay our bills, y'all. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim, fix, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
It's Global Radio 99.5.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. Today we're talking crime, what causes it, what can prevent it. And I have a special guest in studio with me today, Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings. Before we get her back into the conversation, I've got to throw out the telephone lines for you to call in if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. I feel like I ain't got to get these numbers out, Chief and Superintendent, because they call in anyhow. The numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 801-0271. 801-0271. We are streaming live on the official Facebook pages of Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM. We're also streaming live on YouTube on our official channels. And you can watch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. So definitely tune in to get up to become a part of this conversation. So as I would have started the show, I want to go now to another clip. I'm taking an excerpt taken from the address of the National Security Minister during his presentation to the press at the Office of the Prime Minister today.
So the government has intervention programs. We've reinstated the ones that the previous administration stopped. We've introduced new ones, and we're trying to approach it with a vengeance. The government is not the only person, not the only entity who is responsible for intervening with young people. We can't be everywhere. We're not a communist state. So this morning, before coming here, I met with GRIP, which is the Gang Reduction Intervention Program, which is chaired by Pastor Henry Higgins. Superintendent Theodore Campbell from the Royal Bahamas Police Force is a part, Pastor Randy Hanner is a part, and Keith Burrows is a part. And they seek again to intervene with young men. I can also tell you that the consultant to the ministry, Carlos Reed, and Lieutenant Commander Delvern Duncombe have been around the churches, and churches are running intervention programs. So if we have agreed that the way to stop crime is to stop young people becoming criminal, then it is inherent on all of us to do what we need to do. The government is doing its part, the church happily is doing its part, and we just have to approach the matter with as much intensity as the criminals are. I'll give you a very interesting story that I discovered when I was in practice, and I used to talk to these young men to tell you how their mind works. A young man once told me that his gang liked him so much, loved him so much, that they were going to pay for his funeral. Now you stop and think about that, and they do it. That they recruit young men on the basis that when you get killed, we're going to pay for your funeral. Your parents don't have to do it. That would tell you that young people are seeking inclusion. Young people are seeking a sense of people caring for them and a sense of community. We must create the circumstances that bring them to us and not to them.
I find it amazing that you can use as a recruiting tool. When you get killed, I can pay for your funeral. I find that incredible, Chief Superintendent, but it just goes to show you that there is such little love that these young people are receiving from where it should be coming from, that could be interpreted as love.
As love.
That's frightening.
Scary. Mm-hmm. But that's what we see. You know, as you make that point, Michelle, let me go back. A couple of years ago, I was working at one of the high schools in New Providence.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, we had a program. It's called the 2 for 2 program. This was back in 2009. And there was a young man who was enrolled in the program at the high school because he exhibited at-risk behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And in my communication with him initially, you know, asking him about home and, you know, where's daddy, where's mommy, you know, siblings, I said, come, let me give you a hug. And I reached forward to hug that young man, Michelle. And the natural inclination when someone extend their hand to hug you, what happens?
You hug them back.
You should hug them back.
Right.
That young man stood there with his hands to his side.
Didn't know how to respond to that.
Did not know how to respond.
Wow.
To a hug. And for a moment, I was taken back because I could not believe that was happening. And like I said, it was 2009. And so it goes back to what he's saying. The young people in our country want people who truly love them, who truly care for them, who are going to appreciate them where they are and try to take them to where they need to go.
And a major part of that is fatherhood.
Fatherhood.
Yeah.
Especially for the men and young girls, I should say, both.
Mm-hmm.
They want their daddy to be that role model, that father figure there for them, to show them the love, show them the care that they ought to be receiving. And sadly, they're not getting it. Not from all men, because I must applaud, we have some really, really good fathers in this country, and I applaud those men.
Yes, for sure.
I applaud those fathers who take care of their children, who are there for their children, who go above and beyond more than the women do.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also a crew of fathers who are not there. And that is that window that allows the gang members to slip in and snatch your darling and make them a part of and give them a false sense of what love is.
Wow. Yeah, when I heard that, if you die, when you die, we can pay for your funeral. So we really must love you. I'm like, oh my God. But you know, this is what we are facing. This is our reality check, like the young man said who called earlier. And, you know, it is easy for us all to stick our head in the sand and blame everybody else and, you know, how we come to this and et cetera, et cetera. But we got to face the realities that these young people out there facing. We have to at least try to come to terms with the reality that we as a society have created for them. Because many of them, too, are reacting from a place of trauma. I'm sure you'll see a lot of that.
Early on in life. And the thing is, some of these kids, because when they experience the trauma, they're not able to get to the agencies, even though sometimes you tell the parents, take them to the counseling agencies to get the necessary help. Some of them still don't. And they live with that trauma, and as they grow older, it begins to exhibit.
It starts to boil over.
And there's a lesson, when you hurting people hurt others.
Yes.
That's what we see happening. So we have to be able to get it from the root. We have to go back to the root and start to nurture, start to look at things a little bit differently, start to be there, start to be the role model, or find persons who can be role model to these young people. Some of us may have to do it, because certainly the parents may not be able to. Certainly the parents may be involved in all sorts of behavior that the children don't even want to look up to them. But we're going to have to do it collectively. And not just like Minister said, government is doing what they're supposed to do. It's now for the church to also step up and come outside of the four walls. It can't be business as usual from the church. God has given the church a mandate. Come out of those four walls. We should see you in the community on a daily basis. We should see programs on a daily basis from the church, impacting and empowering young people. Then you have the schools and other arms doing what they're supposed to do. And then you have all the various civic organizations. If everybody work together collaboratively, what a change we can make. The question is, Michelle, how bad do we want it? Are we willing to go the extra hour, the extra mile? Are we able to say that, you know what, I'm not going to worry about the financial component because this is my country. And reality is that you cannot be compensated for everything you do. There has to be something in you called national pride, and you're doing it for the good of your country. Are you willing to go beyond? It's not going to be a 9-to-5 job in order to fix it. It's going to have to be around the clock by everybody who live and reside in this community.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Ms. Malcolm. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank God for life as usual. And good day, Ms. Kippens. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Thank God for life as usual. Mom, Papa here.
Hey, Papa.
Hey.
Hope you and your family okay.
They're all
Ms. Kippens.
Hey, yes, sir.
I don't know if you have a pen there, right?
I do.
Okay. I'm trying to find. And good afternoon. You say the Commissioner of Police listening. Some of these, the question might be above your pay grade, so maybe when you come back, he'll give you the information, the answers, if it's possible. I wanted to know, Ms. Kippens, if it's possible. Ms. Kippens, you remember meeting me before?
Man, Papa, get to the point, man. You eating up time.
Sorry. Ms. Kippens, I wanted to talk about Ms. Malcolm. I wanted to know how much cases we have in the coroner's court, persons who might have been, let's say, police shooting. How much persons would have been in police custody and still in front of the coroner's court who might have died. I don't want to say killed, but died in police custody. Then I listened to the news today. I wonder if you could update us, or when you come back, this thing what they call vehicular manslaughter, vehicular homicide or manslaughter. It sounds like 3 persons got in front of the court today or tomorrow or yesterday, and they say they're taking it serious now. I just wonder if you could update the public to tell us why we going that way now, because once ago it used to just be like $10,000 and you're going on probation and stuff like that. So they're taking it serious now, and I think the public happy with that to know that the charges could be raised, the vehicular manslaughter. I had another question, but Michelle, I think we got to move fast, so I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Papa, I think you can answer the question.
Let me ask the question then.
Go ahead.
Let me ask the question since the commissioner listening. Ms. Kippens.
Yes, dear.
How do you go about getting a license for a firearm, a handgun? Why, right? Former Prime Minister was in Parliament a couple of days ago, and he was saying how PLP supporters, the commissioner issuing license handgun to them. I'm a supporter, but I ain't getting on a like that one. So how do you go about getting it? I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Everybody on a daily basis bombarding Commissioner about a license for a handgun or a firearm. Let me say handguns are illegal, And if you're interested in having one, you need to write to the Commissioner of the Police, as he is the licensing authority. And if he deems fit to issue you with it, he will. As it relates to the vehicular manslaughter, I will have to get some more information on that for you. I don't want to mislead you, but I will get some more information for you, and I will get back to you with that information. As it relates to the coroner's court and the information you asked, I cannot give you a definitive number, and I would also have to get back to you on that. But rest assured, I will have that information for you, and I will channel that to Ms. Malcolm so that she can adequately inform the public.
All right. One of the things that was raised during that press briefing today, I didn't put any clips from her out simply because of time, and I had to get here to the studio, but also addressing the press was the Minister of Education. And she raised this whole question about all these thousands of kids who, because of the pandemic, dropped off from the educational grid, and they have not been able to get these kids back in school. And they're working to try to get these kids back in school because, like she said, this is a problem that's going to develop and blow up in our faces later on. If you have hundreds of children, thousands of children who didn't finish school, who are, don't have any kind of educational qualifications, not even at the high school level.
Basic.
And then fast forward 10 years, maybe less, when they are unemployable. Like she said, if we don't try to find these children now and get them back in the school and get them back on the educational grid, you may sit back and say, this ain't got nothing to do with me, but this is going to blow up in everybody's face.
Exactly, quite so.
What kind of role is the police? Does the police have a relationship with the educational system where you go into the schools, etc., to try to reach the children who are there? And are you working with the officers from the Ministry of Education to identify or try to locate those who have not come back into the system?
Well, the officers from the police force, they are in the school. We have school resource officers in every school.
Now, I ain't talking about the ones who are there to bring about law and order.
But they're also there to assist with any other issues that the school may be confronted. So if the school indicates that we haven't seen Johnny Black in a while, the school resource officer would still assist. They would also liaison with urban renewal to find out where that child resides, or from the school. They would visit the home, find out what's going on, why the child isn't in school, and then they would, with the parent, be able to take the child to school. So that is working very, very well. The thing is, though, we have to encourage, it goes back again to parents, because the police can come there and we can take your child to school with you. But you, as the parent or the guardian of the child, have to be consistent in taking the child to school so they can get their basic education. There's only so much that all of us can do.
Absolutely.
But we need to encourage and motivate. I don't want to say talk down to, but I want to encourage and motivate and empower the parents. You know what? These are your children. These are your children. And they have to see the need for their children to go to school and get their basic education. And so we're working collaboratively between the teachers, urban renewal, and the school resource officers to address any situation with delinquents, at-risk students in the school, and then if there are also criminal matters or criminal offenses that occur at the school resource officers also deal with them. And if there are cases where those persons or those students have to be placed before the courts, they are placed before the juvenile courts.
Do you think that much of what we're seeing now, well, we have to, speaking of the courts, I know you can't say it, but I'm sure y'all are frustrated with the fact that it almost seems like it's a revolving door.
We see it as a revolving door.
Yeah, y'all get them
because
off the
players
street,
are
y'all
the same.
take them before the courts, and then the court, for whatever reason, grants bail, and then they back on the street. And I mean, I think it's,
It's and as you say that, I need to let the Bahamian, there's no need to feel alarm, because it's the same people
doing this.
It's only a handful of people, but we're going to be relentless, and we're going to continue doing what we're doing. Sometimes we same person again, but we must do justice. We must do what it is that we're called to do, enforce. And so where those persons offend, we're still going to arrest, and we're still going to put them before the courts. And if the courts put them on bail and they come back out again, then we'll arrest them again and we'll put them before the courts. we are doing what it is that we're supposed to do. Are we going to continue to do it?
You know, there was a Caribbean leader the other day who made some statements about whether or not the judges in the Bahamas live on Mars, because why you giving repeated bail to someone who is out, who's before you for murder multiple times, especially. And some people took offense to that. Some people defended it. I will tell you from the layperson's perspective, many people agreed with him because it seems like you're seeing these same young men over and over again. I know you all had one case where the young man was given bail 6 times, accused of murder.
Yes, that's correct.
But yet at the same time, from the legal argument, if you can't bring somebody to a speedy trial, everyone is assumed innocent until proven guilty. You could be in jail for 3 years before your trial come up. And then if you found innocent in that trial, then you would have taken 3 years of my life from me. So it's an argument that you can understand both sides. But from a layperson's perspective, if you keep coming before me for the same thing, you wear an ankle bracelet, they make no difference to you. We always, a lot of these murders that we're hearing about now, the person was known to police, out on bail. The challenge is, though, that there's sometimes collateral damage because these fellas come to kill you, but I just happen to be in the vicinity. And I don't even have to know you. I could just be driving down in my car, minding my business, as we've seen happen. And one bullet goes straight and end up in my car and kill me or my child. So we have to be concerned about this, whether we are, whether we know any of these people allegedly involved in these activities or not. It could affect all of us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we can't sit back and say, well, that's their business, not ours.
But like I was saying earlier when I said that the Bahamian people do not need to feel alarmed. However, those persons who know that your sons or even your daughters may be involved in criminal activity, then you should be careful. So
thank you. Who they hit when they come looking for them?
Exactly.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, good afternoon, Michelle. Good afternoon, Dr. Skippin.
Good afternoon.
I was listening to your talk show just a while ago, and you were saying about a lot of kids that are out of school that don't want to come back into the school. But can there be a system that is set up where they can get a GED? Can the Ministry of Education assist in that manner where they can have a GED?
It's interesting that you would bring that up because that is one of the things that the minister addressed during the office of the at the office of the Prime Minister today. And I believe that is a system that they are now putting into place. According to what she was saying, there's a town hall meeting that's being held this evening. And she said she didn't want to sort of preempt the town hall meeting at the OPM briefing today, but that they would lay out this plan for exactly what you're describing during the town hall meeting this evening.
Yes, because, a lot of kids, they don't want to come back into the classroom setting, but if there is a outlet or something that they can go into and take these exams and, just to get their general education certificate.
Right.
Because they really need it because, like Sergeant Skippin said, it's going to be a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because then a lot of these kids, they're not educated, so they're going to resort to what they know.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing. Then they're going to join these gangs, because you're going to need money to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do believe it's in the works, according to what the Minister of Education said today.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, let's take one more break. And then when we come back, we're going to hear more from what the minister had to say. I obviously had to chop it up. I couldn't play the whole thing in its entirety. So we're going to hear from another clip. We're going to hear more from Chief Superintendent Skippings and hopefully more from you out there as well. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This is one of the fastest growing and fastest moving shows I've ever hosted. I mean, the time is gone. It's 3:33. There's so much ground that we haven't covered as yet, but we're going to try to get to as much as we can. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. Like and share the show on Facebook. We're streaming live on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, also on our YouTube channels, and you can catch us on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. My guest today is Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings. You guys know her well. Even if you don't know her, you see her on TV all the time because she's at all the crime scenes with all these murders that have been going on. And man, I feel for her and all the officers who are having to clean up the mess left behind by these criminals as they do their job. Now, there's an elephant in the room that we have to touch on at least. But before we get to that, I want to play one more clip from today's address with the Minister of National Security and what he had to say to members of the press.
So the first prong is prevention. That is all of our business. The next step is detection and disruption. You may think that that is only the job of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, but that is not accurate either. The Royal Bahamas Police Force does an incredibly good job at detecting and arresting. At the symposium in Trinidad, and this is why it's good to see what happens elsewhere, we discovered the clear-up rate for crime in the Bahamas is 80%. The clear-up rate for murder in Trinidad and Tobago is 20%. That's the difference. Our police solve 80% of murders. The Trinidadian police solve 20% of murders. But that is still a failure. By the time somebody has been murdered, the village has failed to raise a person who does not think it is right to kill someone, who doesn't think it is right to rob someone, and very troubling today as I get the briefings, who doesn't think it is right to commit a sexual offense against a woman or a defenseless child. We have failed by the time that the police have to execute these high clear-up rates for crime, because that tells you the crime has happened. But detection and disruption is still everybody's business. If you know your son has come home with a car that he couldn't possibly have bought, you have a duty not to talk about your good son when he's gunned down in the street, but to call the police. When you know your son has a firearm or your daughter is hiding a firearm for someone, it is your job to call the police. The Commissioner of Police and Chief Superintendent Skippings has made it clear. When you do not, you endanger yourself as well as your child. Because when they come for your child, you may be right there. It is much better for you to advise the police, my child has a car, think it's stolen, my child has a gun, than to have to show up at the morgue to identify your child. We all have a duty to assist our police force, who does a stellar job in detecting and disrupting.
All right, Chief Superintendent Skippings, your reaction to what the minister just said. I mean, we touched on some of it earlier, but your reaction to what he would have just said.
He's quite accurate. It's everybody's business. And he went on to talk about a car.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start at something even more minute, as simple as a pencil
Mm.
or a rubber. It starts from the little thing that your child brings home, and you know you didn't purchase it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask them where they get it from, and they cannot give you a reasonable or a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
And you accept it, as opposed to saying, you know what, take it back. When we grew up, that's what happened.
Oh, absolutely.
But today, you bring it home, or you bring a game home, and they say, oh, where you got it from? Oh, I found it. Come on, you can't find it. Let the child take it back. Let them see from young.
Mm-hmm.
When it starts at that age, then it won't escalate
Exactly.
to them having to take a car.
Because the young man who come into you with a gun in your face, he didn't start with that gun in his face. He started with something small.
He started with something small.
Yeah.
And the thing is to stop it while it's small.
Nip it in the bud.
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Lady Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
And your most esteemed guest. Thank you for service to your country, continued service to your country, Officer Skipping.
Thank you, sir.
The minister, like keeping it real, this is GNN,
Mm-hmm.
Ghetto News Network. Like your earlier caller, the guy who was a former gang member, hit it right on the head. See, old people tell you, if you can't beat them, you join them. You understand? You got to go to them. You got to go where they are. You got to meet them on the ground that they are. The minister, we've been saying these things with the minister, answer to somewhat your guest is saying and yourself for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. The question is, everybody's correct with what they're saying, but we keep regurgitating the same things. Every show we got Listen, the thing is, if we didn't have test cases in this world to show that it can be done, then I would say, okay, let's throw in the White Tower. We got Cuba next door. We got this place next door. We got Dubai. We got this. We got those places are working. Understand? And it is a reason why those places are working. It has to be a reason. We need to stop the foolishness we do. Minister sounds so pathetic just now. Listen, I had 2 sons. 2. Them boys never brought what they did in front of me. Never did. Every day, hey, yes sir, no daddy, yes sir, no sir. Now people came to me and said, but boy, stop it. Your son do this, your son do that. When I confront them, it's a different story. One of them had one car. What was in my name? I know how I get it. The police come to me and say, listen, we need you to come to the station to check out this car in your name. I say, car in my name. I say, my car downstairs, my Jaguar downstairs with my name on it. But anyway, I went to the police station to inquire. Something's up in the car. After the case was through, I tell them, okay, well, since the car in my name, y'all bring it and give it to me. You think I get that car? And first of all, when my son got killed, they didn't give me none of his possessions back, all the money he had in his pocket, I didn't get that back. Right? And the car, in order for him to get the car license, there was a program where you got to take the car to the police first to get the serial number and all of the VIN numbers and things checked. So all of this, we know all of this for years. The question we need to ask now is what we can do now. Which laws we could throw out, which said we could keep, and which ones we could strengthen, because we need to do something, Officer Skippin and Ms. Malcolm. We need to be talking about the same thing over and over again. Like the former criminal said, we don't care. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. I think the bottom line, though, is, and I'll let you respond, Superintendent, the bottom line is there's no quick fix.
There's none.
There is no quick fix for this problem. This problem didn't develop in a week.
No.
And it could take more than a week to fix.
Exactly. But the thing is to get started.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. And everyone, it's everyone's responsibility. And we all have to be consistent with it. And once we do that, eventually we will see change coming. But like I said, it has to be consistent. And the punishment must be swift.
Now, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. I wait till the last part of the show to bring this elephant up, because I know once we bring this up, everybody can want to jump on the bandwagon, and I didn't want the show to just go in this direction.
Okay.
But we have to consider what kind of implications, or what kind of effect, I should say, the migrant population is having on crime in the country. From where you sit and what you're allowed to say, because I know, there's certain things you can't say, and I get that. But from what you are allowed to say, is that an impact? Is that having an impact?
To a certain extent. And I'd say, and I'll respond like this.
Mm-hmm.
Persons who are born in the Bahamas, and of course, they have the right to apply when they get the certain age. And so once they apply and they gain their status, they're Bahamians.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the most part, all of them are Bahamians. And so we have our issue with the mixed breed and being Bahamian.
Mm. And that's as far as you're going on that.
That's as far as I'm going on that.
Boy, for you all on radio, she pin up her mouth. In other words, so ask me that that's not the show.
But the thing is, like I said, every agency
mm-hmm.
has to be on board. Every agency, every civic organization, every ministry, if it's social services, the education, environmental health, everybody has to be on board, and everybody has to be honest, and everybody has to be working towards the same goal. Everyone must be doing it consistently. You can't have one department, and I say the police department, holding the line over here, and then the next department not holding the line on the other side. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, if you've seen very recently, Commissioner Fernanda has integrated all of the law enforcement agencies. And so prior, we had little communication, but now we have that constant communication with our partners with the Defense Force, Commodore King. We also have that relationship with prison, Mr. Clare, and then with customs and immigration. That is the only way it's going to be solved. All of us have to be working together. We have to be talking. We have to be collaborating. And once we do that, we've boxed in the criminals because we're all talking, we're all communicating. We know what's going on. That's what has to happen. Continuously, I should say, because it's happening now, but it must continue. And once we continue, like you said, we're not going to see the benefits right now, but gradually. And even now, we're making inroads, We're still doing well. We're doing extremely well.
80% is pretty impressive.
That's and we are. We are. And I must at this point thank the Bahamian people, because we can only solve these matters based on you in the community and you calling us and with the use of our technology. But most of it, and I'm saying to you, the Bahamian people, I so love the Bahamian people and the way they're responding to their police department. They're giving us the information that they need. They understand that they do not have to give their names. They're calling in anonymously and providing us with the information. And that is all we require of you to do. That's your contribution to a safer Bahamas. And I applaud you for it. And that's why we have the great success, coupled with the diligent and hardworking men at the Criminal Investigations Department, who are doing an awesome job. I'm the face of the force, but let me tell you, the officers from CID, they're always out there, always out there. We have our top brass as well, our commissioner and our deputy and senior executive. They're always on the ground, always out there in the forefront, along with the commanders from the various divisions. And at this time, I want to just continue to tell y'all, keep pressing on. We're doing an awesome job. We're proud of you. And we're going to see the results of our hard work in the not so distant future.
Good stuff. All right. I believe we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Welcome. I just remember that what I think what we should, Ms. Skip and them should do, I mean, I don't know if they're doing it. In these shanty towns, we need to plant some intelligence in these shanty towns. Because if they like that, and we don't know what's going on inside of there. So, they get one of the, they could, like the fellow was talking, the gentleman was talking. If we can plant some intelligence inside all these shanty towns, so we could know now what is going on inside, because we leave them just like that. We don't know what's taking place, what's going on. And I believe we get the outskirts cover, but now we leave the shanty town and nobody's paying attention to them. So we need now to do some intelligence. Not only them, we need to do some intelligence with these yacht and stuff going on these keys and stuff, that we need how to search them when they go into these keys, like the example keys and stuff like that. And then we'll put a bin inside these stuff, okay?
All right. Thanks for calling. I want to read a couple of comments from our WhatsApp line. This one says, I listened to your guest talk about all the wonderful programs in place, but are these programs reaching the young men who are causing havoc and death on our streets? Programs need to be tailored specifically to reach this group and develop relationships with them. This is going to require thinking out of the box. Is it a fact that the police do not venture into certain areas for fear of these gangs? What is the RBPF strategy for dealing with gangs?
Well, the programs are functional, and they are targeting young men as well, those who are a part of the program. In regards to your second question, there is no place within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that the police cannot go and the police will not go. We will go wherever the criminals are. We're not afraid. We are not afraid. And so I hope that answers your question. And I want the criminals to know that we're going to get you. We're going to come after you. we are going to come after you. These are some serious times that we're living in now, and we are not going to allow you to continue to wreak havoc on this country. And let me say this too, those of you, just a note before you start, Michelle, let me just say at this point in time that on Tuesday, during our press briefing, Commissioner indicated that we wanted to speak with a young man in relation to a recent double homicide. I want to say that that young man was arrested moments ago in the Camp Road area.
Good stuff.
And he was being harbored by a female.
Wow.
And I'm going to send a strong message to those persons who continuously harbor these persons who are wanted by police. You are just as guilty. And when we find these persons in your home or around you, you are going to be placed before the courts as well. We have a zero tolerance approach. It will not happen. And so if you're harboring persons and you know they're wanted, be careful. And I also want to say thank you to the men and women of that community who provided the intelligence so that we may apprehend this wanted individual.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good day. Michelle Malcolm.
Hi.
To your guest.
Hello.
And I highly love how the police force is working. You know what I mean? They got a challenge on their hand pertaining to these guns. So I would say we need to focus more on the C's and those people who have boats. It ain't the poor man in the ghetto who bringing these guns in. These are middle class people, rich people who are bringing these guns in the country. The poor man can't jump on the boat and go to Miami and bring guns in to sell. It's these influential people who jump on their boat, go to the States, bring about 100, 300, 200, whatever guns, and they sell it. They go in the ghetto and they sell these guns to the poor man. So we need to start focusing on the high class area and start beating out the criminals in the high class area too. Another thing too, when it comes to training with our officers are made up. I wouldn't say all, but some of them, they are very poor when it comes to dealing with humans. They brutalize people, kick them, slap them down. You know what I mean? When the person's trying to talk for their rights, you know, that they need training in that, and that need to stop. I know there are a lot of wild, vicious criminals out there who you got to be physical with, but the majority of the guys who try to speak for their rights, they get marched down. That's what has caused a lot of havoc in the country too. So, you know, I just saying, there's a lot of issues out there where the police could correct and the police could improve on their part, and there's a lot of things out there that is happening that the police are not pushing to say, hey, let's focus in this area. You know, a lot of people, a lot of men who have boats, everybody know about boats and everybody know who's doing whatever on these seas. So focus in that area, and I'm sure the guns will lower.
All right. Thanks for calling. Now, you know, I believe that caller is onto something, but then we've also heard reports about weapons coming in through Haiti as well. Is that something that you're saying on the force?
Well, we have our firearms task force and anti-gang unit headed by Chief Superintendent Anton Ramming, and they're doing a wonderful job. All of those arteries that the caller alluded to a moments ago, we have taken all of those into consideration. I won't get into the finer details of what we do, but we've taken those into consideration. And I want to let you know that we have been making significant inroads in our firearms and anti-gang unit as it relates to removing the illegal weapons from our streets.
Good stuff. All right, we have one more break, right? Okay, we also have a caller. Let's go to the caller first. Just plug them in. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, Lady Malcolm, I'm calling back right quick. I think I've been so upset I forget to get my solutions, because we really need solutions. The earlier caller, the former gang member, said something that pricked my curiosity. How about these young men, half of them ain't need no love, but a lot of them get love, yeah?
Stop it, man. Stop it.
Man, let me be real. I had never know daddy. I never know daddy, Lady Malcolm. You still there?
I'm listening.
And me and my brother, we were raised by one mother. We get so much cut and things like that. But what these young men really need, they need job. They need something to do.
Did your mother love you?
Pardon me?
Did your mother love you?
That depends on who giving the who's saying.
Answer my question. Did you
Yes,
receive
she did.
love? Okay, then.
Yes,
So
she did.
even though you may not have had the father in the home, you still had love in that home.
Yeah, but that ain't stop me from thieving and doing little things, me and my brother.
Yeah,
That
but
ain't
for
stop
you
us.
to make the statement that these young people don't need no love, with all due respect, caller, that's kind of, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
Well, let me put it to you like this: on a scale of 10, at least half of them ain't need no love. A lot of them.
We can agree to disagree, because.
But let me get them a point.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what we need to do, we need to. They might can't make the force like how off the skippings there. But what we can do, we can have auxiliary police. We can put some of them to work as auxiliary immigration. We can have auxiliary defense force, auxiliaries. We could get paying them on the street. And I think it's past time, way past time, that we have a national youth service. You understand? I sure we need that now. Yeah. And then they can go on tour duties around the different family islands and abroad and whatever they need to do to get most of these unoccupied young men and women off of the street, man. We need to give them something to do. We need to trade them guns for jobs. Thanks for taking my call again.
Thanks for calling. Before you respond, I just want to say this. Even the youngest babies, there's been studies done to show how children react when they don't receive any touch from an adult or any attention from an adult, any love from an adult. Babies start banging their heads against walls. Babies! We all need love.
We do. We all do.
And no disrespect to you, caller, or, but that's an ignorant statement. I'm sorry. That's not to say that these young people don't need discipline and something to do, etc., everything he said. But we all need love.
Foundation.
But you go ahead and respond. We got 3 minutes left, and I want to give you at least a minute to talk about what some of what y'all want to get out there.
I agree with you totally that every child needs love. Once a child has love, everything else will fall into place. I think Maslow's hierarchy needs
yeah,
indicated that that's one of the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just give a little love, it will change the way people look at the world. It will change the hearts of our young people. It will change the hearts of every individual in this Bahamas and make us a better Bahamas. But before you go, I know we get 2 minutes, but I need to be specific so that persons know that Omar Thompson Jr., the person who we indicated that we wanted to speak with in connection with the brothers that were murdered, he's presently in custody.
Well, kudos to you and all of the fellow officers who put your lives on the line every day to try to keep us safer. I don't think people realize how stressful your job must be. When we go to work, we don't expect to be threatened with our lives. When they go to work every day, God forbid, they ain't sure if they're coming back home.
So true.
They put their lives on the line every single day for us. And I know it must be frustrating for you all sometimes to hear people complain, oh, the police, this, the police, that. And you saying, I put my life on the line for you on here talking stupidness. But, it is what it is. So 1 minute, Chief Superintendent, and if you say Commissioner's listening, Commissioner, thank you so much for allowing her to come here today, because I know I called you last minute today, and I really appreciate your support. We're going to give you 1 minute to go ahead and give us your final.
Well, as usual, I always make my plea to the Bahamian people. This is our country. This is not the police country. This is our country. The Bahamas is for everyone who live, work, play, and even those who visit here. And it's incumbent upon us to do our part to making it better. Whether that is you rear your children properly, whether it is that you report crime, or whatever it is, you have a contribution to make. I want you to make that contribution. And again, as our officers traverse the streets of Nassau, New Providence, we have saturation patrols in all of the hotspots, as well as the other communities. If an officer has to stop you, members of the public, I'm asking you, please do so respectfully, because we won't stop you unless we recognize that there's something wrong or we have some intelligence saying that we need to question you. Let's continue to work together. Let's make this Bahamas a better place for everyone. And I want to say a special hello to the officers from ceasefire.
All
Good
right.
evening.
And we want to say a special thank you to you and everyone else on the force who work hard for us every single day. I know sometimes it feels like a thankless job, but on behalf of a grateful people, thank you for what you do.
Thank you too. It's been my pleasure.
All right, time is gone, y'all. We got to get out of here tomorrow. TGIF, Open Line Show, where we talk about the week that was. You got to be here to be a part of that show. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of